Last summer, when the One Big Beautiful Bill was passed by Congress, it significantly increased the budget for immigration and customs enforcement, giving it tens of billions of dollars, a large portion of that to be used to build additional detention centers across the country. You may be wondering, why do we need so many detention centers? Are there really that many criminal, undocumented immigrants here in the United States? Hello, my name is Brian Kennedy. I'm the mayor of Glendale, Wisconsin, president of Democratic Municipal Officials, and a member of the DNC. Follow me for local government and Democratic Party content. So there are currently over 200 detention centers across the United States, now housing more than 70,000 undocumented immigrants. And I want to address two issues about these detention centers. One is the number of them and the huge increase in the number of people being housed in them, which is different than past administrations. And I also want to talk about the people who they are putting in these detention centers. So past administrations, particularly the Obama administration, have done a pretty good job of having hearings and deporting people. They might get to live here for a year or 18 months before they get to their hearing. But once they have their hearing, many people were deported during the Obama years, and actually a significant number were deported during the Biden years. But what's happening with Trump is instead of having these people stay in their communities and await their immigration hearing and then deport them, they are now rounding up people and putting them in these detention centers. Now, keep in mind, these are people who were working jobs, raising families, and paying taxes, awaiting their immigration hearing. And we are now instead paying for these people to be housed in detention centers. We've pulled them out of the job market. They're no longer taxpayers, and our tax dollars are supporting holding these people in detention centers, many of them run by private entities who are bilking the government. You remember the stories through the years you hear on 60 Minutes of people talking about abuse of government contracting, paying $1,000 for a hammer or $5,000 for a toilet seat in the defense contracts? They're doing the same thing right now with ICE. You have the private companies running many of these detention centers, overcharging the taxpayer to put people in detention who don't need to be held in detention. They could just as easily be out on the street working jobs, raising their families. Because, my second point here, who are we rounding up? We are not rounding up the murderers, the rapists, and the worst of the worst because there just aren't many of them. People who are going to leave their families behind, trek thousands of miles, including across the desert, in order to be able to find a job where they can send money home to their families, are not typically murderers and rapists. And that's what we're seeing. Over 80% of the people currently being held in detention have never had a run-in with the law. They don't have a DUI, right? They don't have speeding tickets. They don't have unpaid fines, right? These are not murderers and rapists. These are people who were actually working jobs, making money, paying taxes, many of them sending their tax money back to their countries where they came from to support their families there, and others supporting families that they're raising here. So why do we need these detention centers? Why does the Trump administration need to be warehousing now tens of thousands of people who are otherwise peaceful? That's the question I think we all should be asking, because what's the future use of these detention centers? Right now, they actually are housing people who have been undocumented, but they could be repurposed for a whole bunch of things in the future that I shudder to think what those other things might be.